for people who are not used to recording conversations with their customers, it's actually one of those things where it's now almost rude not to. Because if you forget something, it is so embarrassing. It is so bad when you make a promise and you can't follow through because you forgot. Or from a sales side to an implementation side, you make a promise that now, Kim, you would have to implement, but I never wrote it down. I never put it into HubSpot. And you now have no idea that I made a promise that you can't follow through on. And so I think more and more people are getting comfortable with that. And we're going to continue to see that happen.
AI note takers are everywhere, but how do you know which one is right for your team? In this series, I'm going to be talking to the CEOs and co-founders of some of the top AI note-taking tools out there to learn about some of the more advanced features they offer. We're going to dive into things like their HubSpot integration, how easy they make it to customize the notes for different teams and use cases, how they handle data security and privacy, and other key features that really make them stand out. And why does that matter to Arrows? If you're syncing your meeting notes into HubSpot, Arrows can read that data and automatically suggest the right updates to your sales rooms. So you can update things like next steps, milestones, value props, and Arrows will even suggest new content that should be added to your sales room based on what you discussed in your meeting. All right, let's get into it. Hey, Woody, it's great to meet you. Thanks so much for joining us for this series. I have to give a quick kind of background of my knowledge of you all so far. So Arrows is an app partner in the HubSpot ecosystem, and we have a partner program where we work with a bunch of HubSpot solutions partners. And when I started this whole series about AI note takers, the tool that most of the solutions partners came to me with saying you have to explore this tool is AskElephant. And I hadn't heard of it before. I wasn't able to get into a trial at that time, so I wasn't able to evaluate it for the first kind of round of my AI note-taking series. So I'm going into this demo completely blind. I don't know anything about the tool. I've heard that it's awesome and can do a lot of really cool things. So I'm really, really excited to see you show me around and show me a demo of it. But I would love to start if you want to kind of tell us about how things got started and a little bit of background on the company.
Well, thanks, Kim. That's super nice. We obviously have some amazing customers out there and HubSpot partners as well that have just are looking for and needing a new way to be able to capture the valuable information from conversations and then what to actually do with it. But this actually started with me consulting, and I was consulting with this company charging a fair amount of money per hour, and they asked me to listen to Gong calls. They asked me to hey, will you log into Gong and will you listen to these calls so we can understand what's going on through some of our customer journeys? And so I logged into Gong, used it my whole career, and I was shocked that there's this valuable insights that's there, but they don't have a way for them as an executive team or to be able to kind of pull it out and to know what's going on through the customer journey and what's the best thing to be able to do. And that's still causing the manual process. So that's where the thought triggered over a year and a half ago when I started AskElephant. And then I started to really dive in to be able to say, what is the future of the way that customer-facing teams from sales through success, what should their world look like? Because we're right now juggling so many different tools to be able to get our job done. And there needs to be a way that we can have a tool that helps us do all those things so we can focus on our customers, not focus on our tools.
Cool. Well, if you have a demo ready, would love to dig into the tool and see how it works.
All right. So for all of us, every single one of us here, we live off of our calendars. And so AskElephant, as a note taker and has access to all the different information that's there, we have to make sure that we have the tool that gives us the information when we need it and why we need it. So I have a meeting up here to hang out with Arrows, and it can be able to quickly pull up a way for me to get all the information I need about the person that I'm talking to, including all of the past interactions and conversations that I've had with the company in the past. Now, because Kim and I haven't hung out before, there's not going to be information based off of previous transcripts, but it does have access to the full internet to be able to pull in everything that's online to make sure that I'm fully prepared for this meeting. So one of the really cool things here is that there's going to be different things that I need to know. If it's an interview, if it's a demo, if it's an onboarding call, that I need access to all that information. And so this is one of the first ways that people use it. It's not just about recording the call and putting that notes into HubSpot and updating every custom field that's there. But it's now when I'm preparing for a meeting, what is going to pull in all that information for me? So AskElephant has a deep integration into HubSpot, and it went and scraped everything in HubSpot to pull in and give me that information to be prepared for this meeting. The next thing that it does is it also scrapes all of transcripts, and then it does have an agent to be able to go out there and scrape the web to have that full understanding. So as you can see here, I'm hanging out with Kim. What should I do to be able to look at the influence strategy of looking at what her roles is and my conversation strategy? What should I ask her? What questions should I talk to her about in her role? As if I was trying to sell her AskElephant, it actually prepares me based off of her online presence and the information that's there. And now I know this is a note-taking series, but this is important to realize that AskElephant is taking all of the information that you need as an individual to do your job and giving it to you right when you need it. Now, the cool stuff about AskElephant as you start looking at it is you're going to want to be able to customize this from how it takes notes, how it has agents to customize your notes into HubSpot that are personalized to you, and also how it can be able to prepare you for meetings. And so these are all different agents that are running. This is one of my favorite ones, Kim, is it went and scraped your online presence and it's now telling me what your personality is. So we see that's about 75% accurate, but it says that you're an ENTJ as your online presence with how you're showing up as an extrovert out there, public speaking, doing these types of note-taking series. So when we show up and we hang out, we actually can already have a head start just because of the way that we stalked your online presence.
This is so cool. I'm such a Myers-Briggs fan, so I love this.
How
And it's
accurate?
funny.
How accurate is it? It's usually about 75%. We usually get one letter.
So this is not my actual Myers-Briggs type, but it's probably my online presence. This is how I put myself out in the world.
That's one of the things that the information it's using there. Okay, but now let's get into some of the note-taking stuff and what some of the power that's happening there. So after a meeting is done, all of us have a few things that have to get done. So the most important thing after a meeting is not the transcript. Yep, we have it. It's there for you, but it's not what's needed. What's needed is usually you need to ask something or you need to do something. So as a user, I can be able to come in here and I can ask anything, just like some other note takers, or I can trigger some AI agent to be able to get something done for me. So because we're going to start off with HubSpot, I want to be able to show you this. This is the HubSpot workflow that went through and pulled out what were the custom fields that I wanted to update into HubSpot. And so it will tell you what we did on the job. Was the demo complete? Who's the champion? Was there next events? Now this call, there wasn't supposed to be next events, but you can see that now all of that information, it was now automatically imported into HubSpot. Any custom field in HubSpot, we can be able to update after any engagement. It's not just a meeting, it also takes in phone calls and it also takes in emails. So you can be able to keep your HubSpot up to date from every single aspect of this. The next thing is meeting summaries. Everyone has these. Ours is fully customized. And I'll show you how we customize that, truly being built off an AI agent to customize it your way, to be able to then personalize it and then put those fields also in HubSpot for you. But all of us have so many different things that we have to do after our calls that we have those action items automatically here. So that way you can see exactly what was the action item, why it was an action item, to be able to then interact with that data. And so let's say that I have an action item to be able to send an email. Let's just go to all my action items, send call summary. So we can be able to have an AI agent that took a call from earlier today that I need to send a call summary to be able to do it here, okay? So now the nice thing about it is instead of having to say, oh, what summary should I send them? I can now just tell AskElephant, draft that email so I can send the summary to Matt. And what this is going to do is it's using the AI to quickly draft that email, give us the information based off of the areas that are there. And then I can just click on one single button that will automatically open it up into Gmail for me to be able to then send the email. So I don't have to leave. I don't have to copy, paste, go somewhere else. I have AI exactly where I need to be to make sure that I can send that information when I need to send it and how I need to send it. Truly integrating my day so I can just get crap done.
So it sounds like you sync to custom properties in HubSpot. So you can set up like these are the properties that we care about. If there's a value that is known based on this call or email or whatever, we are updating it. And then you sync to is it the like note or a meeting object for the actual notes from the call?
Yeah, so we send the notes. Right now, default, we send them to just a notes field if that's where you want it to be sent for the custom HubSpot notes. So then I can dive into that. So this right here, this meeting summary, this is saved inside of HubSpot as a note. Now, for companies, that's what the default is. But let's say I'm working on something and I want to send something very direct to HubSpot. So I would be able to create a HubSpot note for details on what the customer likes. Okay. I can then take at any point, I can actually click right here and it will push that new note to HubSpot as well. So yes, it automatically sends the notes from my meeting summary, but if I ever want something else added to HubSpot, within one click, you can send anything you want to that contact, company, or deal.
Very cool. Awesome. Anything else you want to show here? You want to show off?
Yeah, I think one of the most exciting things as we really look at using AskElephant is thinking about the agentic processes to help cover you on the things that you're trying to do to make sure whatever industry you're in, what you want done. So one of our new favorite ones that people are looking at is a deal intervention workflow. So if I'm a manager and I want to know exactly what's happening on the calls that are going on with my customers, we can be able to trigger that. So after a new meeting is done, it obviously makes so that's external meeting. It will run it through this AI agent that's looking for, did anything go wrong? So if one of my sellers is on a call and misses the opportunity to overcome an objection, I actually get a Slack message right afterwards that says, hey, Woody, deal intervention here. Take a look at this deal. Your rep missed an opportunity to do this thing, so you can be able to step in and help close that deal. As a leader, I can't be everywhere. I want to be on every call. I want to understand from a customer's call and from a sales call what's going on, and I need help to be able to intervene. And now I have the canary in the coal mine that will monitor those calls for me and tell me when I can go in and help out. And these type of agents are very, very helpful. We have people who build workflows to monitor competitors every single week. So as there's tons of note takers out there and there's new ones popping up every single day, an AI agent that every Monday goes out and searches the web for all the different type of competitors that are coming up. So I'm always in the know and I can be able to better be prepared for conversations. And so we are the new AI orchestration platform to make it for customer facing teams can be able to do more with less.
Awesome. Are you seeing, I know you mentioned customer facing teams. Are you seeing the primary use case being for sales teams right now? Or are there any other kind of use cases that you're finding your customers using it for?
Yeah, one of the most popular workflows is a handoff workflow. Onboarding and implementation team needs a lot of information that happened across multiple calls. So through our platform, we have a way to be able to run a workflow on all of the company data and all of the information that went through. So as an example from one of our customers, we can be able to look at every single event that happened with a customer and then run a handoff workflow that can tell us exactly what happened on the call, every single interaction, so that they are fully prepared to onboard the customer. But this is allowing your person that needs to fulfill the promises that your sales team committed to. They now have a way to know what every single thing is. And so our use cases, the way that it's used today, is highly focused on all customers that are customer facing with some sort of handoff process is usually where we do the best.
So one question that came up a lot is how tools think about data privacy, security. I think the use case I think about that I have been bringing up is like, I want all of our sales teams calls to be available to anyone in the company to look at, watch, learn from, but like a one-on-one with my boss. I want to be just between me and my boss. And then I think the other piece of it is I think there's still some hesitation from some people out there about having everything being recorded. I think because we're in tech, most people are comfortable with it that we come across, but there's like obviously people out there that are still a little bit nervous. So how do you think about that stuff?
Well, first off, we have the HIPAA compliances to have it redact all PPI information as you're having certain conversations of things you just don't want recorded. And so we have those things set up to be able to protect that data from going out. And then second off, for people who are not used to recording conversations with their customers, it's actually one of those things where it's now almost rude not to. Because if you forget something, it is so embarrassing. It is so bad when you make a promise and you can't follow through because you forgot. Or from a sales side to an implementation side, you make a promise that now, Kim, you would have to implement, but I never wrote it down. I never put it into HubSpot. And you now have no idea that I made a promise that you can't follow through on. And so I think more and more people are getting comfortable with that. And we're going to continue to see that happen because that's where the memory's at. And the company wants to make sure that they fulfill on their promises. From a privacy side, every type of meeting should be treated slightly different. So the way that we built it is a lot like Google Drive. So external customer calls are shared. We make it so that everyone has access to those because that customer data is public for the company. And so it's exactly like a shared drive in Google where you would have access to that. But then you're going to have an internal meetings where they're private. And so those are set up to be private, where only the people who are on the meeting has access to it. So you and your manager would have access to it, but no one else would. And so that's the way we designed it, to kind of respect that, because I don't want my one-on-ones everywhere. Yeah. But I do want to make sure that every interaction I have with the customer is public.
Yeah. Is that something that's handled automatically? Do you decide that per meeting? Is it using your workflow feature? Or how is that determined?
It's set up during onboarding on how to be able to have how you want your settings done.
Cool. This was great. Anything that you want to really highlight, or anything that's coming soon that you want to kind of throw out there?
I just think for everyone, you shouldn't be looking at a note taker to take notes. You should be looking at a tool that is putting your data to work. And so because we integrate with HubSpot so deeply, every single phone call in HubSpot goes through our system and is transcribed and is built into that memory bank. Every single interaction in HubSpot is brought into our system. And so think about where all of your data is, and do you have a single pane of glass to be able to get your work done, is where I would recommend it. Taking notes is easy. Customizing it is easy. Drafting the email is easy. There's a couple things that are now just super, super easy that everyone can do. The thing that you want to look at is, what are the things that can do on top of that? And can I personalize it to me? Because you have your own unique sales process. There's not a cookie cutter process that has ever worked for any tech company out there. And so you need to make sure that you're hired to do special work. Your tools are customized to be able to match you where you're at, and you don't have to try to change for a tool.
Love it. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for showing me. This is cool. I think it's awesome to see the depth of the HubSpot integration. Like I said, I hadn't seen it before. I knew it was probably good, but it was really cool to see that there's so many different things that you can do inside HubSpot.
Yeah, we love HubSpot. We believe that HubSpot is the source of truth, and you want to make sure that it's getting all of the information in the right spot and not have to do it manually.
Yeah, totally. Cool. Well, thanks so much for joining.
Okay, thanks, Kim.